going to check my email real quick because I had invited somebody to join in, and I want to see if they responded.
So how's your reading been going this past week?
Well, it's going pretty well. I have been getting a lot of reading done. Currently, right this minute, I've got two audiobooks going in my kitchen. I have a Reacher book. I'm listening to this one, Night School.
Okay,
And
I have that book. I have several of his books in my collection. So
yeah, have you read any of them yet?
I've read the first two or three.
Okay. Yeah, this one is like 2021, I think. But it's like a prequel, so you could read it in any order. It is set when he's actually in the military. So chronologically, it's one of the earlier ones, but publication order, it's later. It's set in 1996 while Reacher's still in the army. So anyway, it's pretty good. I was having a little hard time following it because I've been trying to multitask, and I realized like I start thinking about something else, and I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? And I have to go back and rewind, which happens sometimes, with audiobooks. But I'm still chinking away at these two that I'm reading in print. Dim Sum of All Fears. This one I'm enjoying. I have this much left. This one, not so much. It has a few funny moments, and I think that's what Janelle liked about it. But it's got a lot of spiritualism, and it's just a lot of sordid things that I'm not a fan of. So I doubt I'll read any more in that series. I'm going to go ahead and finish it, but
I have 50 pages to go on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have 75 pages left of this one. So are you still thinking that you can get that one? I mean, I don't know how fast you read. So for me, I read pretty slow with my eyes.
Well, with me, I read slow too with my eyes. I've had surgery on each eye twice.
Oh, goodness.
When I was younger.
Now, that one, the Robert Crace one, is what decade?
That's around the 80s.
80s. Okay, so do you think you'll still get to a 90s one? Or are you going to start it?
This is a 90s one.
Oh, great. Okay.
And what I do is I've made it so I don't limit myself to just like a month to read. Books so I'll go into the next ones, and it's a lot less stressful that way.
Right. Right. That's true, because I do stress myself out sometimes. I don't necessarily always try to read things within a month, but I like to if I can, if it's doable. But, sometimes I have to just say, okay, really, talking to myself, it's no big deal.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good to it, because when I finish this one, it will make it the fourth book this month. Then.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Now, do you do any audiobooks at all, or just print books?
I did listen to an audiobook a little bit for Smokescreen, but I read the full physical book of it too, because I was trying the audiobook when I was having a migraine and stuff. So
okay.
Keep
an eye out on your like if anybody else shows up. I did talk to one person. Well, I didn't talk to them. I sent them an email. I don't know if they'll get the email, and I haven't talked to Storm or Sarah about it today, so I don't know if either of them will be on. But I left a message for somebody else. It was a long shot, but anyway, it would be a surprise guest if they're able to come.
Yeah, you might notice I'm wearing a different hat today. There's a reason behind that.
Okay, tell us.
It was 43 years ago today that I was that I took the oath and went on active duty in the Air Force.
Oh, wow. 43 years.
And I was flown down to San Antonio, Texas that day for basic training.
Oh wow. Yeah, I did notice you didn't have on your pork pie hat today. So I think I've seen you've worn this. You've worn the veteran hat some other times in other
Yeah,
videos, haven't you?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's
Yeah.
usually this one or the other one, and
Okay. Well, and how long did you serve in the Air Force?
a little over 10 years.
Okay. Did you where all did you go? Did you get to travel a lot?
Well, I have had after basic training in San Antonio. I was stationed in Biloxi, Mississippi for 4 months for tech school.
Okay.
Then from there, I went to Colorado Springs. I was there for 2.5 years. Then I was in Germany for 7 years.
Oh wow, in Germany. Wow.
My wife and I left it over there. So
Okay. And were you married already when you joined up?
no,
Or did
we met when I was stationed in Colorado Springs, and
okay.
when I first went to Germany, we weren't married yet. I came back a little over a year after uh, I went to Germany, but came back and got married.
Okay. Have you ever asked her to be in a video with you?
She doesn't want to be in
No.
Vegas. There's been some where she's come in, opened the door behind me.
My husband's the same way. I'm like, I've asked him a couple of times and he's like, I'd rather not. I got him to be on one time because I used to do some stuff with the reseller community on YouTube. And I was on some live streams with a reseller friend. And we had one day where we had all our spouses on with us. There were like three of us, and each of us had our spouses on. So he was willing to do that because in his mind, reselling is a business, but booktubing, he's like, is a hobby, and he just thinks it's a waste of time. So he won't get on here with me.
Well, my wife will read at times. Like she'll borrow a book from my daughter and stuff. With my daughter being only 10 minutes away from us now, it makes it nicer.
Yeah. Well, my husband reads. He just thinks that doing videos about reading is a waste of time. So he won't get on here with me. But yeah, I finally got him reading the Reacher books. He's reading, he's already finished Killing Floor, which we had watched. We've watched the shows. In fact, we're watching.
Yeah. I figured he'd probably like shows like that.
Yeah, he does. And so he's finished Killing Floor, and he's reading the second book, which is Die Trying right now, because he's got some reading time at work. So he takes it to work. But yeah, he likes to watch action type shows and stuff too. So he likes the show. And his as far as reading though, last year he read all of Clive Cussler's books. Like he started with Dirk Pitt, and he read that whole series, and then like every other series. He'll do that. He'll pick an author, and then he just reads the entire catalog for that author. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, that's what he likes to do. He'll get stuck on other, and he does that with movies too. Sometimes he'll pick an actor and he'll watch that actor's whole, all their movies and everything.
Sort of like Harrison Ford or
yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the actors that he's done that with. I can't think now. Maybe like John Wayne and some older ones like that. He'll do that with, and I don't know. I don't even know what all he watches.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has done like Harrison Ford or Samuel L. Jackson.
Probably. I have no idea really, but
the action type ones.
Yeah. We don't watch a whole lot of stuff together, but we do. Like last year we watched, or year before, I guess year before last, we watched all of Star Wars timeline order, like all the Star Wars movies, all the shows, everything. We did that, and we're watching Reacher right now, and also we're watching The Waltons, which is not an action type show, but I got started. We were just thinking about it, and I guess it was at Christmas time at work. Somebody was asking him. They were just having a discussion about what are some of your Christmas traditions. And he said, well, when my wife's cooking, she has a Walton's Christmas CD, and she listens to that while she's cooking Christmas dinner. And they're like, the Waltons, what's that? And he's like, what? You don't know about the Waltons.
Yeah,
So
that dates us.
yeah, for sure. So I realized I was looking on my shelves back here behind me. I've got some DVDs, and I had the first 3 seasons of the Waltons. So we started watching it.
Well,
Not too
they
long
have
ago.
the full series on Peacock.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and one that I've been rewatching again is Emergency.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I used to love Emergency when I was a kid. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That and before that was Adam 12. Used to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
that a lot.
Well, Emergency was pretty much a spin-off from Adam 12.
Was it? I guess so. Yeah, I was pretty young to really understand all of that,
Oh,
but I remember watching one and then the other.
well, we have one viewer now. Here, come and join in with us. We're talking about books and like TV shows and stuff that we like.
Yeah, talking about old
Like to
TV
watch.
shows. So I did bring a couple of other things in here that I still, well, one book I still want to read. I haven't really read any middle grade, and this is a middle grade mystery that I want to get to. I'm going to listen to this on audio. It's City Spies by James Ponte. It's a series. This is book 4, I think, called City of the Dead. It's about a group of kids. They're kind of like a found family, and they have a like a leader who's a male, but they call him Mother, and he's kind of their, he's their parental figure. It's been a couple years since I've read any of them, but James Ponte is a really good author for kids mysteries, like middle grade mysteries. He's really good. And then I finished this one I was doing as a read along. It's not really a mystery, but there was a crime that happened, and you don't really know how it happens until the end. It's more of a historical book, but I had probably at least three people that read this with me, and we've made some comments about it in the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. And then this turned out to be a historical mystery. This was really good. This was my book club book for this month for my regular book club at the library.
What book is that? I can't really see it too
Sorry, I was trying to get the glare off. The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. It is set in 1789, and it starts out with a death. You don't really know at the beginning. You don't realize that it's a murder. Well, you kind of do, but there's a lot of crime involved, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's really, really good. And it's set, in like not long after the Revolutionary War, 1789.
Yep.
And yeah, it's about this woman who is a midwife and a healer. She's like the only kind of medical person in their little community. And so she gets called on for medical expertise, but then like right in the beginning, she's examining the body and trying to determine the cause of death, and she thinks it's murder. Well, then this doctor comes in. I say that he really is a doctor, but he makes a big deal about how he's been sent there because he's been to Harvard Medical School and he's a medically trained doctor. Well, he's young. She's got like 30 years experience, and he's just young and thinks he knows everything. And he's like, oh, well, I think this was an accident and la, la, la. And, just the whole book, he's just a thorn in her side, because he thinks he knows all of that. And so he tries to take over the medical things in their town. And people think, well, because he's a doctor, they should go to him. And, but she's a midwife for like 30 years. And so he doesn't even know how to deliver a baby, and so a couple of babies end up dying and stuff because he just doesn't know what he's doing. That's just a part of it. There's like a lot of crime, like rape and all that kind of stuff that's been happening. And
Is it more like a thriller or?
Kind of. I mean, but it's historical. So, they're always trying to discount her because she's a woman, and they say she can't testify in court unless her husband's there. So the bad guys try to keep her husband from getting there, because they don't want her to testify. And that kind of thing. So it's really good. So I would recommend it. I thought it was excellent. And people told me when I said I was going to be reading it, people who had read it before told me that they really liked it. So I would read more by this author too. I don't know what else she has written. I've never heard of her before, but if you can see Ariel Lawhon, but she did a great job on this one. Trying to just see what other, if it tells anything else she's written. It's part murder mystery, part historical fiction. This novel has a gothic, wintry feel that makes it an ideal fireside read. Yeah, it's definitely a winter read. It takes place in the winter when the river is frozen. So, but right this minute, I think I said, I didn't say, I'm listening to not only Reacher, but I'm listening to the new Hunger Games book, which is called Sunrise on the Reaping.
Whether my daughter's read that yet or not.
It just came out a couple of days ago. It's the second prequel. So if you're familiar with the Hunger Games characters, it's Hamish's story. So in the original Hunger Games, Hamish was the only other person from District 12 who had ever won a Hunger Games. And so this is his Hunger Games. It's like a prequel about him.
My daughter, I know she liked the Hunger Games trilogy. I don't know whether she read the first prequel or not.
And you don't have to read it to read this one.
Right.
It helps if you at least know something about Hunger Games because there's references to all the things. Yeah. But you don't have to read the President Snow's story to read this one.
I was going to ask you, have you ever read any books by Anna Catherine Green?
I don't think so. What is she?
She was a mystery author. She was back from the late 19th century, early 20th century, and she wrote mysteries. That she was sort of like the American equivalent of Agatha Christie. Some people have compared her to.
Yeah, I'm just now looking her up.
Because her books are all in the public domain.
Okay. It says she lived from 1846 to 1935. She was an American poet and novelist, one of the first writers of detective fiction in America, and distinguished herself by writing well-plotted, legally accurate stories. And she was from Brooklyn, New York. Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to look her up. I wonder if my library has anything. You said though she's on the what was the
Project Gutenberg?
Project Gutenberg. Okay.
As also on it, and
what do you recommend?
Well,
I have the Leavenworth case already put on my want to read.
Yeah, the Leavenworth case is a good one. That's her first one. I read that one. That got me hooked on her.
Okay, I don't know. I wonder how long since I don't know who told me about that one. I might have heard it from you. Let's see when I shelved that. I'm just looking to see when I put this on my list. It should tell me. You go ahead and talk. I'm looking at Goodreads.
Yeah, I noticed that Pure had gone away that we had earlier, so
we scared them off. Sorry.
Yeah. Just looking at some of it. I have a couple books by reaching on some books right over here, but one that I have that out front here because my book shelves are overflowing. That I haven't read them yet, but these are like thrillers. They're supposed to be Christian ones.
Yeah, I've heard of those. I think it's maybe like Good and Evil, like Angels versus Demons, that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah. because I've heard you have probably heard of them anyway. And
I have, yeah, and I haven't ever read them. Um, I've got another book. Did he write one called The House or something? I have
I
that, but I
think
don't.
so. I have only like two or three of his books that I've come across. I get most of my books in thrift stores, so it's
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's part of a series. I think it's so we have This Present Darkness and then Piercing the Darkness. It's a duology. Which one do you have there?
Piercing the Darkness.
Okay, so it says that's book 2. So you want to get This Present Darkness
I
first.
can't remember whether I have it or not. Otherwise, I might see if my library has it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have those. I've seen them. We have them at our bookstore, I think, where I work. I was trying to think. Yeah, he's got one called The Oath. Yeah, House. There is one by him that's called House, and it's supposed to be creepy. It's by him and Fred and Ted Decker. They wrote it together. I own that one, but I don't. I haven't read it.
Here's another author I read one of his books and I really like.
Good. Yeah, we've got some of his books at our store too, and I've not read him either.
They're more thrillers than.
Okay.
The one I read is called Cathedral, which is a standalone book. And
Okay. Is it historical or is it contemporary?
Contemporary.
Okay.
It takes place in New York City on around St. Patrick's Day. And
Oh, okay. Because when you said cathedral, it just, I automatically go to like historical, like the Ken Follett. There was another series that had to do with cathedrals and stuff that I think was historical. Giordano Bruno series. Who wrote that? There's like Heresy and who am I thinking of? You might like those. They're kind of thrillery. S.J. Paris is the author.
Okay.
Giordano Bruno is the first one. And I read, I think, the third one. And I've always wanted to go back and read more. I read one called Sacrilege. It says it's a gripping historical thriller set in 16th century England, centered on the highly secretive cult of St. Thomas Becket, the 12th century archbishop murdered in Canterbury Cathedral. I knew there was something to do with cathedral in there. Yeah, it's set in 1584, and it was so good. It was like, wow. And I read that years ago for book club, and I have wanted to go back and read more in that series. The first one's called Heresy. So obviously you don't have to read them in order. If I read the third one and loved it, you can read them. But there's 7 books in the series, and yeah, that's one I'd like to go back to. She's a female, S.J. Paris. I don't know. You see initials. I should know better than to think that initials is male, but that's why so many women authors use initials, because they don't want to like pigeonhole themselves, because there are some people that will only read male or only read female authors.
Yep.
Or they're drawn to,
Well, here's one that I'm going to be reading either in April or May. It's a novelization of the movie from the 80s.
Oh, okay. And is that a military? Is it
historical, that takes place in Vietnam.
Oh, okay. And is that an actual place, Hamburger Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was it was a battle in Vietnam, and there were a lot of people, service members injured or killed there.
Wow. Yeah, I read recently The Women by Kristen Hanna. That's about some women that served in Vietnam, and it was amazing to me how, and apparently this is the true, that people were told that there were no women in Vietnam, because even some military people, like, she would tell people, yeah, I served in Vietnam, and they're like, there were no women in Vietnam.
Well, there were nurses in Vietnam.
I know, and even a few other support staff and things like that.
In Saigon, there'd be for clerks and stuff.
Yeah. But the like it was in the book, people were kind of discounting her involvement. They were like, "Oh well, you were just a nurse. You didn't see combat." But the nurses and the doctors saw the worst of it. They may have not been, constantly fearing for their lives, but they had to see the aftermath, and they had to see the devastation, and just trying to care for these people who were, wounded and killed. And, I think in some ways that might be worse. So I don't know. It was
just imagine how traumatic it would be for the doctors and nurses with what they saw.
Yeah.
But you can touch around anybody that was in Vietnam, that was in the war. They'll tell you there were women that.
Yeah. And like in the book, there was somebody who was there who was arguing with her. There were no women in Vietnam. She said, well, if you had been, she said, thank goodness you were not in a place where you would have met me. That means that you survived well, and you didn't get injured enough, to see, where I was working. But
yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was a really good book too. We're going to be discussing that in my book club in another month or two, but I didn't know how long I was going to have to wait on it, because there's still a long wait for the book. So I went ahead and just read it early for book club. And I guess it was in February that I got a hold of it and read it. I listened to it on audio. I thought it was a good audio book.
And I have a wide variety of books in my library. They're all over in here, just like my records are too.
Yeah.
Like I have some Martin Cruz Smith. I have the book Gorky Park by him.
Okay. And what is it about? I've seen it, I've heard of it, but I don't know what
it takes place in Russia during the Cold War. I can't remember it all now.
Okay.
I've read the first book that's about it, and that one. The other one I haven't read yet is Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith.
Yes, I have read that. Have you read it?
No, I don't, and I have the sequel to it now too.
There's a trilogy. So let me go back and look that up to see which one is first. There's 3 of those. All right, yeah. So Child 44 is the first one. The Secret Speech is the second one, and there's one called Agent 6, which is the third one. So I have kind of a love-hate relationship with that book. The book Child 44, we read it for book club. I listened to it on audio, and I hated most of it. I was like, I couldn't figure out what was happening. I was just like, because the beginning of it was very interesting, and it was like there was an abduction or something, or a child went missing or something, and then it starts going off down a whole different rabbit trail, and I could not figure out what was happening. Finally, in the last fourth of the book, it comes back around to the beginning, and it starts, you start figuring out what actually happened in the beginning, and then it started coming together, and I was hooked. I was like, oh my goodness, what? And so I was like, wow. And I ended up loving it. So the last fourth of it redeemed itself. And I thought it was great. Then I went on and read the other 2, and I liked those. But then I tried to watch the movie, and the movie was ridiculously different. And the part that I really loved about the book was not in the movie at all. And it was just dumb.
You see that so often too.
I know. And the only thing that's remotely the same about the movie was the character names were the same. It was so awful. Yeah. So don't and I heard people say, "Oh, I watched the movie." I'm like, that's a different story. So don't even. So yeah, I hope you let me know when you read that. Let me know what you think of it, because I was like, wow. I would almost read it again now that I kind of know how, just to try to see if I could follow the middle part, because I really got bogged down in the middle of the book. And I think I would appreciate it more, if I went back. But yeah, it was definitely worth reading. And even if you do get bogged down in it, stay to the end, because there's a big payoff.
Here's a couple other books your husband might like. I haven't.
Okay.
Okay, this is by Alistair MacLean.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if he's read I don't know if he's read any of those or not.
And this is one of my favorite World War II movies.
Oh, okay.
Where Eagles Dare.
Okay. Yeah, he never did serve in the military, but he likes to watch military type shows like the Band of Brothers and things like that. He likes those.
And like a show I used to like is The Unit.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that.
It used to be on CBS.
The Unit. I don't think I know that one.
Like Dennis Haysbert or whatever, the one that's in the black guy that's in the Allstate commercials. He's in
Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. I think he did watch some of that. I think I'm looking that up. 2006, they did 4 seasons. Dennis Haysbert is the guy you're talking about. Yeah, I never did see it, but I feel like maybe he did watch.
They were like a special forces unit.
Yeah.
And of course, I like the NCISs and.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what other shows that I've enjoyed with stuff like that. I'm drawing a blank right now. Can't think. Sorry, the street sweeper's going by kind of loud.
And my wife will watch shows like that with me, and or like, and of course we watch these police shows and stuff like. We like watching the FBI on Tuesday evenings. We like the regular FBI one and the best. And
of what show now?
The FBI ones by where Dick Wolf does that's on CBS on Tuesday evenings.
Oh, I don't know. We don't have cable anymore, so I don't even know what the current shows
we don't have cable. We have Rabbit Ears and we have like a couple Roku's.
Oh, okay.
Some of the TVs.
Yeah, I'm not up to date on that, but one show we watched together was Longmire. We watched all of those.
Yeah, I watched several episodes of that. I never finished it. I need to go back and try finishing it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We watched it from beginning to end and really enjoyed it. That was good. And I've tried reading the books, and I don't like the books as much. They're okay, but I've read maybe 2 or 3 of them, and I just thought the show was better, so I didn't care for them.
And we watched all of the Rosalind Dial series.
Now, I have not watched any of those, but that looks good. Yeah, I would. And that's is that Tess Gerritsen? Who's the author of those?
Yeah,
books?
Tess Gerritsen.
Okay. Yeah. I would be open to watching those.
Yep, and I've been watching some British ones too, like watching a show called The Border. I mean Canadian.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that now on where I'm at in The Border now, one of the actresses in it, she was in how they had the new Hawaii 5-0 for a while on CBS.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the lady that played Kono on it is in the border.
Okay.
Playing, she's a Homeland Security agent, like a liaison there in Canada and stuff. So,
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking to see. I've only seen a couple of episodes of the newer version. I used to watch the old original version. Um,
oh yeah,
when
and
I was young.
that's one nice thing about Kangaroo. They're all confined to reruns of the old ones quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just like I watch Kojak quite a bit.
Yeah. I used to watch Kojak. All those old ones, Kojak and Columbo and McCloud and all that stuff that was on when I was a
Oh
kid.
yeah.
For fun. Ironside.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one I'm thinking of? Cannon. Did you ever watch Cannon?
Oh yeah, I used to always watch that. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Cannon.
And of course, Barnaby Jones.
I love Barnaby Jones. And I got to meet Lee Merriweather once. In 2000 or 2001, a friend of mine that I worked with was Miss Florida. And of course, Lee Merriweather was a former Miss America. So I got to go backstage and everything after one night. I don't know if it's preliminary or what, but I got to go backstage to see my friend and her family, who was in the pageant. And Lee Merriweather was backstage. And I was like, I love Barnaby Jones. I love Barnaby Jones. So that was really fun.
Well, see, my mom knew John Wayne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, when after my sister, who's a couple years younger than me, started, or like 2.5 years younger than me, after she started school, my mom started working again, and she was working at the state headquarters for the American Cancer Society in Iowa. Well, anyway, John Wayne would come in there at times.
How neat!
And
wow.
So she's met him.
That is awesome! Wow, what a national treasure John Wayne was.
Yeah, see, he was from Iowa originally. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know where he was from. Very cool. Very cool. Well, I probably need to get back to, I'm trying to get some eBay listings done and some things. I was trying to decide, I kind of wanted to do one more video. I never, at least a mystery video, but I had said at the beginning of the month, I was going to redo my March Mystery Madness tag. And I never did. And now I feel like it's probably too late, because if I was going to do it, it should be in the early part of the month, just to encourage more people to do it. And now we're running out of month. So I guess I won't. But maybe next year. I already do have some ideas for next year's theme, and I'll probably be typing those up in our host chat. So go and check that out soon. I didn't want to do it too early, because I didn't want to confuse this year and next year with this year. But maybe we'll do some kind of I don't know. A few years ago, I don't know if you remember, we did like a Zoom call with all the hosts.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, just to kind of reevaluate and talk about the next year. So I might try to do that.
Just that it was Janelle who would host those, because
yeah, because she could get everybody in her Zoom. She had enough spaces. I know. I sure do miss her. Wow.
Yeah, I miss her and Scott both.
I know. Same. But anyway, we'll just keep soldiering on, as they say.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody's heard from Becky lately.
I did email her, and I haven't heard anything back. Oh, sorry. My daughter needs me. She's having a run-in with the dog. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep trying to reach her, but I did reach out, and I haven't heard from her. So she's probably just, doesn't really want to do social media.
Well, just probably brings back some memories that are hard on her.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to get off of here. My daughter's standing here, and she needs something. So, and if you don't know, I have a daughter with autism, and
right, I know that.
She was.
I know her name's Emily, but I can't
It's
remember how
Emily.
you
Yeah.
spell it
Yeah.
because I know you spell it different. That's
Yeah,
my
because it's Emmeline. Her full name is Emmeline, and if you take the N
okay.
out of Emmeline, that's how we spell it. So,
Yeah, see,
yeah.
my daughter-in-law's name is Emily, so
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Well, thank you for having me on each week, and thank you for doing these weekly uh, catch ups. It was good
yeah.
to get on and chat every week about what we're reading and everything. I enjoyed it. So.
And I've seen people have been checking them out later on.
Oh,
So,
good. Yeah, I know a lot of people, work during the day and can't come on live, but it's still good, I think, to do something in the middle of
uh,
the day. I used
well,
to do a terrific Tuesday back a few years ago, and then I started working on Tuesdays, and I couldn't do it. But yeah, so I appreciate you, and I
well,
appreciate you
so
doing this.
something I will start doing next Tuesday is I'll start having a live stream. It's on Tuesday afternoons. It was originally for what talk about records, but I started talking about books in an episode or two, and there were people interested in the books
Okay,
that I read. So it will
good.
be for both. I do it on Tuesday afternoons because my favorite band of all time are the Moody Blues.
Oh, I like the Moody Blues. Yeah.
And yeah, so you've heard the song Tuesday Afternoon.
Oh, right, right. I'm at work. I work in a used bookstore, and I work on Tuesday afternoons and Friday afternoons. So I end up, you know, playing with books all when I'm home. I'm playing with books, and when I'm at work, I'm playing with books. So it's a
And
big.
then, yeah, and then you have your own eBay store.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I got to get back to now. That's what some of this is back here. My mess, and I've got some down here, things that I've got to get listed. And well, actually, a lot of that right there is my last book haul, which I filmed. That's the video I need to do. I filmed a book haul like a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't edited it, so that's what I need to get busy doing, getting that edited, and I can get that video put up this week too. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. And I will talk to you later. Have a good one.
You too. All right. Bye.